Cash Cow DX is the latest game from Pixel Games, who previously brought us Dodo and Sigi, a fart for Melusina, both of which I have covered on the channel previously. In fact, I'm about to have a review of the Evercade Indie Heroes Collection 3, which features Dodo as the featured title on the cover. I've really liked both of those games and a couple of others that have released from Pixel Games, and in particular have really enjoyed Dodo. It's one of my favourite games of the last couple of years. So the big question now here is Cash Cow DX a worthy follow-up? Does there even need to be a worthy follow-up? Let's find out. So, Cash Cow DX is a 2D pixel art platform game where you play as the titular Cash Cow, who runs around the level and has to collect all the treasure to complete a stage. You collect all the treasure to reach 100%, and when it's done, you go on to the next level. The game is initially quite challenging, but it quickly becomes the same type of, just one more play level of difficulty that Dodo is. The game feels like a natural follow-up to Dodo, but while it has some things in common with that game, it has just as many things that are quite different to make it very much feel like its own game. But it's certainly more in the same wheelhouse as Dodo than it is to other games from Pixel Games. Similar to Dodo, Cash Cow DX shows its love to games of the past throughout. Unlike Dodo though, the game stages don't take place on single screens, but are still quite small and compact in scope. There is no end point, and instead are just like stretched out longer versions of the stages from the original Mario Brothers game. And just to make sure that I'm clear, that is the original Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers. There are green warp pipes at the side which will transport you back to the other side of the level, kind of like how you would go to the edge of a screen in Pac-Man and start back up the other side. The game features 4 enemy characters. 3 of those are common enemies, and they are Speedy Spiky, Rolly Ronnie, and Bouncy Bobby. Bouncy Bobby kinda gave me the vibe of Q*bert to look at, but I think all 3 with their pig noses are meant to be pig themed. The main villain is Party Piggy, and he only appears on the final level outside of the intro screen and doesn't do anything to attack you like the others. When you reach the final level and collect all the treasure, you'll then have to defeat Party Piggy by destroying his loudspeakers. And I give this as a little bit of a tip because I didn't know what the hell I was doing to have to defeat him and almost lost 2 or 3 lives in the process. The game features big loops for you to go around in like Sonic the Hedgehog. There is a pickaxe which you can pick up to be able to temporarily defeat enemies like on Donkey Kong, and there is a minecart themed level which instantly brings Donkey Kong Country's minecarts to mind, although I'm sure other games have made use of minecarts. Resident Evil 4 and the Amiga Hugo game instantly come to mind. What an obscure one that is. Now, you can't defeat enemies without the pickaxe, and generally speaking, you can't jump to higher platforms. The trampoline-themed levels enable you to reach higher ground, but otherwise you'll have to drop off the bottom of the screen and then fall back into the top of the screen, if that makes sense. Again, kinda like you would on Pac-Man. The levels each have a bit of a theme, although most feel very similar. After the initial level with the Sonic-like loops, you have the trampoline-themed level. But be warned, there are spikes at the bottom, and sometimes the trampolines will just disappear. A boat-themed level where, once again, instead of spikes, there is water, so even though you can fall off the bottom of the screen and still survive and reappear at the top, if you touch the water, it is, in fact, a lost life. The minecart level is next, and then finally there is the zipline themed level, which, yeah, there's a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog in grabbing a zipline in a level, but it is fun to see. Each level can probably be beaten in 1 to 2 or maybe 3 minutes if you take it slow, but whilst you can aim to run through and go really fast, dodging enemies takes a little bit of getting used to, as the green spiky spiky enemy will often appear out of nowhere and crash into you. Same with the blue enemy, and they will hop into you, and they are a real pain because they jump around and they do seem to follow you about and wait for you as you're waiting for them to go away. The game does give you a warning if one of these enemies is about to appear on screen though, so you have to look to the edges of the screen for the indicators. I can tell that this is a game I'm going to keep coming back to like I did with Dodo, and I think it was intentional to follow this short game style where you aim for a high score and can basically go through the whole game in just a few minutes. Once you're good, you can expect that you'll get through the whole game on whichever difficulty level in probably less than 10 minutes. That might even be quite a slow run. You can pick up large chaos-like emeralds, which you can then get to double your score with any treasure you pick up for a short while after. This is a key part of the strategy as you get an extra life with every 100,000 points. Likewise, when you kill enemies using the pickaxe, it's a good way to rack up points, and with those extra points gives you an extra life. As well as going for the high score, once you've beaten the easy mode, you'll unlock a faster paced and more challenging normal difficulty, and once that is conquered, you'll then find that there is the hard mode. There's also a couple of other modes for like score attacks and stuff like this, so very similar to Dodo in that side of the presentation. So far, the game is available on Steam on your PC, but will be coming to the Atari VCS super soon. Probably by the time most of you watch this video, it'll already be on that platform, if not also on the Switch, and maybe some other platforms if it releases on like PlayStation or Xbox, but I think I'm right in saying that Dodo has yet to travel there. I'm hoping that this means that this game will come to the Evercade, probably as part of the Indie Heroes 4 collection, but with it just coming out, I don't know that we'll see it as part of the Indie Heroes 4 collection Game of the Month strategy that they do, unless it was to come out towards the end of this year. But who knows, they might surprise us and it might be free to play for a month on the Evercade in just a month or two's time. So that's going to wrap things up for this review of Cash Cow DX. It's a game I've really enjoyed so far. It's a fun game, it's a short game, but it's one that you can then just think, oh, I'm going to get a little bit better at it and play it for a few minutes here or there. So with this, if you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate if you would smash that subscribe button here on the Geek Battle Gaming YouTube channel. Check out the written article review version of this video over on www.xstreamed.tv/gaming. And with that, until next time, stay safe, always stay extremed, and ciao for now. Boom, and I'm off the air.